Borges Ranch is a city-owned park which was established in 1899 by Francisco Borges and his family, who immigrated from Portugal, and is a great example of the early 20th century Central California cattle ranch. Today, many of the original buildings and structures still exist, including the Borges family home, which is one of 7 structures placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1981. The Borges family continued to operate and maintain cattle on the ranch from 1899 until 1991. Today, the old Borges Ranch is still an operating and working ranch, but is now owned by the city of Walnut Creek, and the cattle belong to another local cattle ranch who also raises his cattle on the Shell Ridge open space and foothills around Mount Diablo. The Borges Ranch was a family-run ranch. Like many ranches, even today, every member of the family plays a role in taking care of the ranch and its inhabitants. Every day, the family would rise early to begin their chores. The children of the house went and fed the goats, sheep, pigs, and chickens. The dad and the older son would take care of the horses and then ride the ranch to check on the cattle. And the mother, with the help of the kids, would prepare breakfast, collect water, and begin other household chores. All these chores would be done and completed before 7 a.m. Once the children finished their chores, they went off to school in town, which only took 40 minutes to get there with their family's wagon. While the children went to school, on the ranch, the parents would begin the daily upkeep to keep their ranch alive. The wife would mend any clothing, as well as prepare food items for future meals, like butter, and process the chickens for food. One of the larger responsibilities for the mother was to turn the wool they collected from their sheep into yarn. She could take this yarn and sell it in town, or use this wool to make clothes for the family, or sell along any extra materials the ranch could make. This sale of extra items gave the family the extra money they needed so they could buy supplies they could not make on their own. While working on the cattle ranch, the family was faced with receiving most of their money once a year when they would sell their cattle at auction. So, the work of the mother selling extra items she was able to make would allow the family to receive small amounts of money throughout the year. The father would spend his days working in the blacksmith shop, turning metal bought in town into the tools and materials needed for the ranch. It was common for the family to make their own nails, door hinges, and turn trees into fence posts for their paddocks. Once the father was finished making the materials for the day, he would go and repair any of the fences the cows may have broken to ensure the safety of his livestock. A common problem for the family's cattle were attacks by local predators like mountain lions and coyotes. So to protect his livestock, traps were laid and moved every day in hope to save some of his livestock from becoming a meal for these predators. Every day, barns or buildings needed repairing, fences needed mending, and materials needed to be made. Taking care of the cattle and raising them to auction was the family's largest source of income, and so the health and well-being of these animals was important to the family. These animals were moved from paddock to paddock every month to allow for fresh food and the land to regrow. The moving of the cattle not only benefits the cows, but the land itself. This idea of high-intensity, short-duration grazing is now called holistic management. With the availability of tractors, it allowed the family to start clearing larger trails around the ranch, as well as turn some of their property into a clear space for farming more foods. Where the parking lot now sits, as well as the pasture for sheep and goats, was a plot of land used to grow multiple crops year-round for the family to eat. They would take these vegetables and fruits and jar them for later consumption during the colder winter months. Many local groups who promote the experience of understanding our history host events at the ranch, as well as local Boy Scout members help maintain the animal enclosures, and the Rotary Club, who volunteers to help renovate some of these historic animal pens. The ranch, now a government-owned space, host many public functions with the help of these 4-H members, educating the public about what they do. Everyday members of the public can come tour the ranch, but once a year a Heritage Day program is held, where members of the community recreate the entire experience of living on the ranch, with the public being able to see the blacksmith make horseshoes and nails. People can make butter, turn freshly shorn wool from sheep into yarn, and create blankets for families to keep. So the next time you visit this quiet place, as you walk around the old Borges Ranch, take in its historic beauty and the story that these buildings represent. Go see the animals raised by the children of 4-H, get involved with local programs, and admire as a family made their way to this once quiet town of Walnut Creek and turn these small green hills into their home, and understand the hard work it took to live here as a family for 5 generations.